Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the business economics of selling a 32-page RPG PDF module or adventure and making a profit on it. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I, of course, am Lewis Porter Jr. Thank you so much. I really can't say enough, but today I got my lovely board so I can go over this topic, since a lot of people want to know how much does it cost to make an adventure. So I broke it down in two sections. I broke it down what I would pay as a small independent RPG publisher, and then I went with numbers of larger organizations like Paizo or Green Ronin, mid-level tier companies. So you can get a good idea roughly what the difference is and what really goes on. We're going to put a couple assumptions we have to put in place before we get started, because this is important to what we're talking about. First off, we're going to make an adventure or module, depending which age you're from and you call it. It's going to be roughly about 20,000 words. So that will give us about 32 pages. Here's a little fact you may or may not know. For every 1,000 words you write, that's roughly 1.5 pages of layout. So for 20,000 words, you figure 30 pages, which is very reasonable. Also with that, I believe in the sense of one full page of art for every 4 pages. So that's usually what it will be. That's what it comes to when you break it down. I think that mathematic works the best. So based on the numbers I have, I'm looking at 8 full pages of art. We will be doing editing. We will be doing layout on this. Normally I wouldn't. I'm a professional graphic designer. I've been doing it for 30 years, so I don't need to pay for that. But we're going to talk about that, a cover and everything. So with that being said, 20,000 words, 30 pages laid out. If you're using my own out of my pocket, these are numbers that I use theoretically. We're going to pay about 2 cents a word. So for us, for an adventure like that, it's going to run me about $400. Our full page of artwork, we pay realistically $200 a page for full page color artwork, which is pretty standard. This is non-cover. This is usually just an individual page. That's going to run me, 8 of those is going to run me $200 a pop, will be $1,600. Editing, if I do editing, will probably be the same rate as what we pay for the actual writing, which is 2 cents a word. So that's another $400. Layout, I had to guess on this because I haven't done layout in so long. I don't even know, I remain out of house. I'm guessing $100 is what they charge. If I'm incorrect, do me a favor, put me down in the comments, tell me I'm incorrect and give me the real number. And another $200 for a cover image, because you're going to need a cover image, usually going to be full page. So there you go. So the total in this, my little one, is $2,700. Now that's just to make it. We're not doing printing because we're going to be selling as a PDF, so don't have to worry about that. But that's what it costs to make, just on these budgeted numbers. So now we're going to go over to Paizo and / Green Ronin's numbers. So you can use these just as things to think about and what they should be and what they probably will be. So for 20,000 words, I'm going to assume that Paizo and Green Ronin is charging 5 cents a word, which isn't a lot, but it is a fair amount. It's a fair, reasonable amount at their level. So that's $1,000. They're going to do 8 full pages of art, but they're going to pay probably $500 per full page of art. So their page cost on that 8 full pages is $4,000. They're also going to pay about the same amount for editing as they did for writing, 5 cents a word. So that's another $1,000. Layout, like I said, I guessed $500. And for a cover, a full page image for them would be another $500. So all in, they're looking at $7,000. So, 2,700, 7,000. Now, for all you people going, that sounds like a lot of money. Wait, it gets even better. So let's suppose these adventures are selling for $4.99. At $4.99, if we sell it to drive-through, they take either 30 or 35%. We went 35% for this one. So you make $3.24 per every module you sell. Adventure module. Whatever. So you're going to need to sell, if you're using my little formula, you're going to need to sell 833 copies to break even. That means to recoup the $2,700, that's how many you got to sell. And on the Paizo Green Ronin side, $7,000 what it was. Also $4.99, and I've taken it $3.24. They need to sell 2,160 to break even. Now, a lot of you are looking going, whoa, that seems like a lot of sales. Yes, it is. Here's where it even gets more interesting. The typical PDF sale on drive-thru, not on DM's Guild. That's a different animal. We're just talking just drive-thru. Just drive-thru, you're probably going to sell 100 copies. Maybe more than that, depending if you've got a good reputation. But 100 copies is realistic. Now, that's an average. That means anybody, everybody, me included, that's the average we all just go with. Some people will sell more, some people will sell less, but at least it puts you into perspective. So you saw these numbers. I need to sell 833 copies to break even. And a lot of you going, I'll never break even. I mean, why do people do this? This is crazy. Right. This is crazy. These numbers are, they are what they are. But here's a couple ways you can save dollars on this. And this is also kind of important. So, if you're an independent person doing this, this is your first, and maybe you got a little bit of experience, maybe you've done one or you freelance or something, I'm going to change some things around for you to help you out, save you some time. Like, number one, the $400 do 20,000 words. Well, you might have to pay that. If you're not going to write it, you got to pay someone to write it. You got to have that. That's going to be, that is going to be real. So I'm going to put that down as something real. The 8 pages of full page artwork at $1,600. Well, let me tell you how you can get around that. There's tons of stock art available online at drive-thru that you can get relatively cheap. I know we have our line, Image Portfolio. You can get full page pieces. Some of the full page ones, even the big ones, are like $30, $40. So if you want to go that way, you can pay like that, or you can be one of our smaller sets. We have character designs and things. They're about $8 to $10 each. So let's say you want to do some full page artwork, and you're going to spend, let's say you spend $40 to get yourself one big image, and you buy 2 of our image portfolios. So we say $20. There you go. Editing. Well, you got to pay for editing, or you don't. If you're not good at English, I'm not an English major. I'm a graphic designer. I know where my strengths lie. I would say pay someone to do it. If you want to save the cost, you can save the cost. It may hurt you in the long run, but being a new guy, it may or may not be worth it. You may have a friend do it for less. You might have to. So let's just say you're going to find someone who's going to do it really, really cheap for $200 just to save some money. Layout. You're saying, oh no, I can't afford layout. And there's tons of people who sell our page portfolio line. We have already pre-made layouts that you can take, use, cost you $8. But let's just say you pay for some layout. I'm going to give it $100. I'm going to keep it as 100 because I still don't know. And the cover. Okay, you're not buying a cover. You're going to use that piece of individual art you bought up earlier for $40. That's what you're going to pay. So all in all, let me do some quick math here. 6, boom, $760. That's a big difference from $2,700. Now that's what I did, $760. Now let's divide it. $760 divided by $3.24, because you got that. You got still have to sell 234 copies. Well, 35 copies, to round up, to break even. And a lot of you are like, still, you only said you could buy 100. That's right. So, the question becomes, what do you do? How do you save money at this? This doesn't make sense. I'm supposed to save money. Well, you do it in lots of different ways. So, the adventure you just wrote, maybe you don't sell it as one big adventure. Maybe you break it into 3 small encounters that will collect together. Maybe sell them for $1.99 each. See, $1.99 each gives you a different price. Gives you $5.93 compared to the $4.99 we said we were going to sell together. So that's another way. You take an adventure, you chop it up in 3 pieces, boom, you put them back together as in a bundle. Or maybe you make 3 separate encounters. Bam, bam, bam. But it's 20,000 words. So each encounter is, 6,000 words. If you do the math as I did before, 6,000 words gives you about 1.5 per page. So you come out to be about 3 extra pages. So it's like 9 pages, maybe 10 pages of content. You put $1.99 on it. No one's going to freak out at that price. They might try it out. It's a great way to get people to try it out. The artwork, well, you're going to be using it in other places. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to use it in other places to keep the money down, keep the cost down. Let's just say you don't pay for the editing. That brings it down to $560. and say you do the layout yourself, that brings it down to $4.60. Let's see, $4.60. 460 divided by $3.24. 141 copies. Now, is it possible to sell that? Yes. Is it possible to get that regularly? Yes. Is it possible to build a fan base to get these numbers up? Yes. But as a starting person, you see the difference in price. I mean, you see it. You know, think Paizo them spend $7,000 on their stuff, but they're going to sell print copies, and they're going to sell at their website, and they're going to sell online at DriveThruRPG. They're going to do everything they can to basically get as much money as they can for this product in so many different ways. One of my favorite ways, who was it? Green Ronin did a book, their gear book, and they chopped it up into each chapter, and they sold each chapter separately, and then they combined it together and sold the book. Now, is that a good idea? Yes. You have to find a way to make as much money possible on the thing you're selling. And there are a lot of restrictions. Because, I mean, really, if you're doing a gear book, you can do a section about this and a section about that, a section like that. If you're doing a campaign setting, you talk about this part of the campaign setting and that part of the, and that's what you do. Same thing at adventures. Maybe we did a series called Sidetrack Adventure Weekly, where we basically took an adventure, we chopped it up into little sidetracks, even though it was a whole adventure, just like this piece and that piece. And we sold them individually. And at the end, we collected it, sold it as a big book, we sold it as print on demand also, and we got a bunch of fans for that. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing creative things when you're going to build your RPG empire. That being said, you have to think about things you can do to help save you money. Because in this industry, you saving money is really the line that separates you from being a good, profitable publisher or just a hobby going broke. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, my numbers are different because I know how to cut corners, I know how to get things relatively cheap, and you can do the same thing too. It takes time, but figure out the best way to do something. Figure out how you can do it for cheap. I mean, I do these videos with my Logitech camera, I got my Snowball microphone. You know, people are like, oh, you should get a better microphone. I'll get a better microphone when we start making more money. I don't need the high-end stuff. I just want to tell good content. Focus on the content. If your content's good, people are going to come to you and look to work with you because people want good content. That's how it works. So that's it right now. Take a look at this, look it over, think about it. And if I've said something wrong you don't believe, put a comment below. If you said something you believe, hey, put a comment below and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you all later. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. If you could do us a super huge favor and click on that like button for this video, or even better, subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. As always, thanks for your support.